morning. This is the Yankified Podcast on behalf of the Pinstripe Chronicles, bringing to you another episode after a crushing Yankee defeat last night. And I thought, why not break it down with an impromptu podcast, say hello to everybody in the chat, and let's really dissect what happened yesterday. My big question is, who's more culpable, the ump or Boone trusting Williams again? Let's ask the question simply. Is Aaron Boone trying to prove to us that they're right about Williams at the expense of the Yankees winning? Because that's what it looks like. Here's a crazy statistic. There is a 400-point OPS between Williams in a high leverage spot as opposed to a low leverage spot. It's pretty stark. When you put Williams in a situation where he's under pressure, he falls apart. He walked four guys. Man. He walked four guys in a third of an inning, including the number 9 hitter. And the pitches weren't even close. This is who he is in high leverage spots. What is Williams doing? But more to the point, what is Aaron Boone doing? Let's say hello to those in the chat early. We'll give us some time for everyone to file in. We got Impeach Mall in the chat. Salute to you, man. Good morning, Yankee Patriot brother. Darl, yeah, that's right, Impeach. Got Issy. What's going on? Morning, like number 2. Yeah, well, we got to get the likes up. Once everybody starts filing in, I'm going to ask to get some more likes in the building. Got Jared Williams in the chat. I swear the umps just get worse and worse every game. You are spot on, my man. And we've got Jonathan in the chat. Good morning, Jonathan. How are you? But Jonathan is not the early bird. No. He got beat by 3 minutes by Jared Williams. What an awful game last night. It was bad. I'll give you that. So at least Jared Williams has the award of the early bird. So salute to you, Jared. Lou, is Thursday a new day for us? No, this is purely impromptu, just due to the events that transpired yesterday, Lou. I figured, why wait till Friday when, we have another game to talk about tonight. So why not break down what happened yesterday? Because for me, I feel that needs a podcast in itself. I don't know if you guys agree, but brings up some fairly pertinent issues. The state of umpiring in baseball is certainly something that we can discuss, because to be fair, the umpires have been more of a conversation in this series than they should be. But really, the biggest stuff again goes down to Aaron Boone's bullpen management. It's really a continual story here. Like, Boone can't seem to figure out this bullpen. He can't figure out what to do with it. And until he figures out what to do with it, I have no faith that the Yankees are going to win big games and big series enough. He needs to get a hold of this bullpen. Right. So, yeah, there's obviously a comment in the chat here, and let's discuss this. Was pissed as soon as Boone pulled Warren after 67 pitches. Warren only 67 pitches. Yes, it was only 67 pitches. Here's my take on this, right? And it might be unpopular or not. I didn't mind it. I actually didn't mind him taking out Williams, taking out Warren. I'll tell you why I didn't have an issue with it. I think Warren is someone that once a lineup sees the third time around the order, once we get to the third time around the order with a lineup, I think they're pretty much got a pretty good handle on Will Warren. Will Warren is someone who is okay, but his stuff isn't great. And I think Aaron Boone probably saw that he left a a fastball over the plate there, got demolished, made it 4-2, whatever. I think he figured, let's go with Cruz, who's got a better arm. I had no issue with him. I actually had no issue with it because I don't really rate Warren. I think Warren is okay. He pitched fine, but I just think that once you get to a third time around the order with a Will Warren, then I think there's a strong chance that they're going to get better quality at bats on him because this stuff isn't great. It isn't. It's not like he's got elite stuff like a Cam Schlittler or whatever. He just doesn't have that kind of stuff. It might not be a popular opinion. It's just purely my opinion. I just think that I know it was only 67 pitches, and normally if you've got that, then you probably want to keep the starter in the game. But with Will Warren, third time on the order, I actually think it was the right call. Didn't have an issue with it. Cruz, I feel is better, but he gave up a run. That was just one of those things. But it was really basically everything after that move for me, which is what I have the bigger issue with. So I'm not going to kill Boone for that. Let's look at what is he like. He needs to figure out who his high leverage guy is, right? I don't know why Williams is the eighth inning guy or the high leverage guy in that spot. I don't understand. Look at his numbers. He's got a 5.60 ERA. He's got a 5.60 ERA. Seriously, what are we doing? Like, I'm almost pleading at this point. Like, I'm pleading for someone to point out to me why Devin Williams is in that spot. Like, explain it to me. Could somebody in the chat explain to me why they think that Boone continues to go with Devin Williams? Why does he keep turning to this guy? There is as I mentioned 7 minutes ago, there is a 400-point OPS difference when batters face Williams in a high leverage spot as opposed to a low leverage spot. Right, exactly, Issy. You should never make a move that's actually going to benefit the opposition. The only people who were happy to see Williams last night were the Astros. Boone has too much faith in Williams. There's no question he has too much faith in Williams. What has Williams given to him that has earned this much faith? Williams looks like he's constantly going to implode. Even in games where he doesn't implode, he in a high leverage spot, he looks like he's trying to implode it. He's just lost. He's a middle reliever at this point. You cannot put him in situations like this. Egyptians got a really good, interesting take here. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like, must be a new analytic. It must be a new analytic. That's right. It must be a new analytic in its testing phase. Yeah. Clearly, the new analytic has its teething problems. But honestly, it just defies logic now. It defies logic. Let's break down what Devin Williams' numbers are, man. It's absurd. I don't understand why they're doing this. It's like their biggest priority is to prove Brian Cashman right for making the trade. The trade is a bust. It cannot be redeemed. He's 3-6 with a 5.60 ERA. A +1 whip, 119 whip. That's not good. It just isn't good. Third of an inning, 4 earned runs, 3 walks. Seriously. It's not funny anymore. This is stupid. You're costing yourself games. I have no idea why. There's no reason for it, Aaron. I'm basically almost pleading to this guy. Like, where's your common sense? 560 ERA. Like, we're talking like Kyle Farnsworth territory here. Jared Williams, 560 ERA. That ain't it, bro. I know. But that's where we're at. Right, Issy. He had a 543 ERA coming into the game. And now it's jumped up to 560. Seriously. It just doesn't make sense. It reminds me, Devin Williams reminds me of Kyle Farnsworth. I don't know if anybody in the chat remembers Kyle Farnsworth, or those that are watching remembers what Kyle Farnsworth was like. Devin Williams is like Kyle Farnsworth. He came in with a pretty good reputation, and he was awful as a Yankee. That's who he's closer to being. It's just cooked. The Devin Williams experience is cooked. It cannot be redeemed. And I don't know why they keep trying to beat this dead horse. This horse is beat. It's bolted. It's done. It's finished. Stop trying. Honestly. I mean, Devin Kyle Farnsworth Williams is so stupid at this point. And we have to move on from this. Kyle Farnsworth had a 5.64 ERA as a New York Yankee. In 2008. Yep. But you would actually make the argument that Williams is worse. Because at least Kyle Farnsworth had a 3.77 ERA in 2006. Jumped up to 5.04 in 2007. In 2008, it was 5.64, and the Yankees chased him out of town. So actually, do you know what's crazy? Williams is worse than Kyle Farnsworth. Oh, shit. That is depressing. That is fucking depressing. But they need to move on from this shit, man. This is stupid. It's a waste of everybody's time. Jared says Boone left Williams out there to rot. Yes, Issy. Boone had the audacity to say last night he thought Williams threw the ball well. Yeah, he didn't really explain to Meredith Marakovich exactly his reasoning behind his decision making. So, you know, it tracks. It tracks. Nothing makes sense. Really, nothing makes sense. So who do you guys blame more? Because to be fair, I still put the majority of the blame on Aaron Boone. Because the umps are the umps. But who do you guys in the chat blame more? Do you blame Boone more, or do you blame the umps more? Because trust me, the umps were awful. I think that Boone lost this game. You chalk this down to another Aaron Boone loss. Jared says, I want to blame the umps for this, but I blame Boone for putting in Williams. More. I agree. Issy is a good point here. God bless Meredith for asking Boone those questions last night, because that game was an insult to our collective intelligence. Good point. Blame Boone, says Impeach Mall. Jason says he took out Warren too soon. That's That's fair. I actually didn't really have an issue with it because I just don't rate Warren that highly to go too deep into games. But I certainly understand what you're saying. Um, I definitely agree with you all in the chat, though. Boone takes the biggest portion of blame. And again, he was really prickly with Meredith. I listened to that interview. I felt he was kind of prickly with her. I don't know what his issue is with her asking him questions. He doesn't seem to like it. She was asking what his thought process was with regards to the bullpen, his bullpen management, his bullpen decisions, why he went with Weaver before Williams, and he got prickly about it. And this speaks to, again, what my big issue here is with the Yankees these days is that they really don't like anyone asking them questions. Like, how dare you ask questions? The analytics told me. You know what I'm saying? How dare anyone ask me any questions? It really wasn't that simple. I know him, Peach. Don't F with our Meredith. You're right. I really, like, she's doing a good job. I don't understand why he's being prickly with her. But he gets prickly with her a lot. Now, I mean, at least in this occasion, he didn't kind of swear. And at least in this occasion, he wasn't like rude to her, that she has been in the past. But he was definitely prickly. You could sense in his voice when she asked why he chose to go with Williams after Weaver. There was an element like, what are you asking me that for? There's just like there's kind of an arrogance about the Yankees these days. And it's really hard to root for. She's just doing her job. You know, give her the benefit of answering politely and respectfully. As really that's his job. Let's be honest. His job is not to be a good manager of the game, because if it was, they would hire someone infinitely more qualified than Aaron Boone to do that. His job is really just to answer questions respectfully and politely, and he doesn't even do that sometimes. I felt that he was very prickly with Meredith again. That's just my opinion, but he's been definitely rude to her in the past. We've got Ness in the chat. Morning, fellas. More the same. Computer keeps saying put Williams and Duval Volpe is elite, and this is the result. Boone is a scapegoat, but this isn't. Yeah, well said. This is an organizational issue. He's got a point here. At this point, Boone has taken lack of common sense and reasoning without explanation to new lows. Yeah. Wait, what answer? Is that what he does? I mean, it is basically his job is just to verbalize the analytics. Let's be honest. And I don't even know how you can verbalize that decision making. I mean, for instance, though, it is still down to the bullpen to deliver, and they still don't deliver. Weaver, we've been giving him the benefit of the doubt, but since coming back from injury, he's a different guy. He's not been as effective. He gave up another run. He wasn't good again yesterday, but at least got us out of it. Devin just destroys games. This is what he does. How many games has Devin cost the Yankees this year? That has to be like my main question. How many games has Devin directly cost the Yankees? I'm thinking 9, minimum 9, maybe even 10. Like, there's at least 9 or 10 games that Williams is directly responsible for blowing. It might not show up in the stat sheet, but I would be very interesting because it's a high number. It's at least 9 or 10. And I don't understand why they keep going back to this. As he says, he can name between 8 and 10. 5 definitely off the top of his head. I think there's more than that for sure. So yeah, I would definitely say about 10. And that's crazy. Will they ever get off the stat sheet and just look at what the reality of the situation is? It blows my mind. It really does. It's mind-blowing. Like, get off the stat sheet. Get off the stat sheet. Williams can't handle high leverage spots as a New York Yankee. Maybe he could have handled it in Milwaukee, but he can't handle it here. That's obvious. The stats back that up. So even to use the analytics as an argument doesn't really make sense because the analytics will tell him that batters have like a 728 OPS, 730 OPS hitting off Williams in high leverage spots as opposed to 300 in low leverage. So the stats back up that Williams can't handle high leverage. So why are you continuing to go with Williams in a high leverage? Explain it to me like I'm 5. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. It doesn't make any logical sense. If you say, oh, well, the analytics tell him to go with Williams in the 8th inning, well, the analytics will also tell him that he's got a 5.60 ERA, and people destroy him in high leverage spots. That'll still be covered in the analytics. So at this point, it's just pure arrogance from the Yankees to continue to go down this road. It's arrogance. I can't think of any other word to describe it. It's arrogance that they continue to do this. And it's an insult to our intelligence. We know that he can't handle it. We've seen it before. Williams has 2 pitches. Only one is good. And that's his screwball changeup. That's his only pitch. His fastball stinks. His fastball stinks. He throws a batting practice fastball. That's what he throws. He throws a batting practice fastball and a nuclear screwball. But you can't keep going to the nuclear screwball. You need to give batters another look. Because otherwise, you're just going to catch up to it and get round on it. So I remember the first batter that he faced where he threw his best pitch first, and I said, oh, well, he's cooked. You know why I said that? It's because I know that the batter is now comfortable. He's already seen this best pitch. He's like, right, well, I can now wait it out until he gets to throw me a secondary pitch. Throws him a secondary pitch, bang, lines at base hit. I knew it was going to happen. And that's crazy. I knew, even though he threw a really nice first pitch strike, I said that he was going to give up a hit in this at bat because now that batter has already seen his best pitch. So now he can get comfortable with it. Now he's comfortable with it. Now he can wait it out. He did, bang, base hit. It's almost like I'm Nostradamus. I also knew that he was going to walk that the 9-hitter. I knew it because this is what Williams does. He walks a ton of guys in high leverage spots. He can't locate his pitches. He can't locate it. In a low leverage spot, he's fine. He's comfortable. He's relaxed. He can get that change up cooking, and he's fine. In a big spot, he can't handle it. So stop putting him in a big spot. It's fairly simple. It doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take Einstein to figure that out. So yeah, I put most of this on the Yankees going with Devin Williams. I put a lot of this on Devin Williams because I'm kind of sick of him. Like, he's directly responsible for a ton of losses. But it's also on Aaron Boone because he keeps turning to him. You have a plethora of options in the bullpen. A plethora. If anyone has seen The Three Amigos, you'll understand the term. A plethora of options. And he does. He has a plethora of options. He could go with Weaver in the 8th. He could go with Cruz in the 8th. And I'd prefer both of them over Williams. Now, this Doval situation, this is weird. Like, I can't figure him out. He's got serious control issues, Doval. He's got serious control issues. And, he's kind of a walking ball because he's got a very awkward delivery. And I don't know. I don't know about Doval. I still prefer Doval infinitely to Williams. I think there's a great pitcher in Doval that they can eke out somehow, but he's a little all over the place. He's got serious command issues, and I mean, he just tends to fall apart with kind of stupid things like balks and shit like that. Although I'm not quite sure if that was a balk, even, or if that umpire was just desperate to try and put more base runners on for the Astros and score them more runs, because he was interfering with everything, that umpire. But we're going to get to the umpire in a minute. But Doval's weird. What do you guys in the chat think about Doval? What can we do about him? Izzy's calling him Doo-Doo Doval. I mean, I still have faith in this kid because he throws 101 miles an hour. He's got nice movement. He's got a heck of a great arsenal, but he can't control it. Until you can control it, then you're kind of useless. So I don't know about him. I certainly wouldn't put him in a high leverage spot either, until he can figure out his control problems. So there are some bullpen issues here, but Boone has options with that bullpen, and I don't really get it. Yeah, it is. It's location. It really is. I don't get this Doval situation. It's tough. But let's move on to the umpire. He lost control of that game yesterday. I personally think that the Yankees almost made his inherent bias come out in the 6th inning. It was like, well, first of all, there was no reason to throw out Williams. I don't understand why you threw out Williams. Like, Williams was leaving the game anyway. He was being subbed out. There was really no reason to throw him out that game. There was no reason to do that. That was just you being an asshole. But I do think that Aaron Boone kind of jawing at him pissed him off to the point where his inherent bias came out. You did not just say that. What did I not just say? Tell me, Jared, what did I not just say? I think the umpire was biased. I do. I think the umpire was inherently biased. I don't think he set out to be biased, but I think that I think that him getting jawed at by all those Yankees made his bias kind of inherently come out. Now, obviously, I've seen the images. Oh, okay. No, you don't. All right. I've seen the images where he's wearing a Red Sox hat, or he's wherever he is, he's wearing Red Sox memorabilia. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, obviously, it's on his Facebook page, so it's not a good look. It wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me with these umpires. I'm not going to say I don't know who he roots for. It certainly looks like he's a Red Sox fan. But all I will say is I think that he was probably okay with calling a reasonable game until things started to unravel midway through. Once the Yankees started to bite at him, then he bit back, and that's when his inherent bias came through. And then after that, it was wild. Like, that umpire completely lost control of that game. He completely lost control of that game to the point where you probably need to check his Venmo. You probably need to check his socials. Like, it got to the point where, heck, Nick Star Wing freaking tweeted, like, the umpire needs to be suspended for that performance. He was trash. That umpire was completely trash. He lost complete control of that game. And I think it started when he threw out Williams for no reason. And then Boone started talking to him. And then he lost his mind. And then they had a big blow up, him and Boone. And then after that, then it was a free-for-all. Then it was just wild. He wasn't even trying to be, like, fair. And it was a shame. It distracted from the game. So he certainly has some culpability here. Like, he took the bat. That ump is a Red Sox fan, says Jared. Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen the photos of him wearing a Red Sox hat, Red Sox gear. Yep, he was in a Red Sox t-shirt on an old post on one of his pages, says Issy. Does MLB vet any of these guys? Like, seriously. Does MLB vet any of their umpires? It's like, seriously, real talk. Does MLB vet any of their umpires? Do they vet them? Do they go through a vet process? Do they go and sit down going, which team do you root for? Oh, you root for the Red Sox? Well, I probably shouldn't have you umpire a Yankee game. Oh, come on. I mean, that's just some common sense here. Do they vet these guys? As I said before, I don't believe that he walked into that game yesterday saying, I want to ensure the Astros win the game. I'm not saying that. I think he was calling a 50-50 game up until midway through, until the Yankees started to bite back at him. And then he's just like, you know what? F the Yankees. I hate this team anyway. And then after that, it was a free-for-all. That's my personal take on it. That's my personal take on it. Because it was crazy. Well, it's crazy. The dude lost his freaking mind. That umpire. He lost his mind. I have no idea what happened to him. I felt the balk was harsh, although Duval is kind of a walking balk, so I guess I can understand, but it was. Oh well, that sucked. That definitely sucked. Apologies for that. Some technical issues. Anyway, yes, the Astros hacked the channel. Brian Walsh ejected him. Brian Walsh ejected me. That's right, for calling him biased, which he was. He was definitely biased. Thank you very much, Jared. Pitch com issues. I was having pitch com issues. I was just like, the screen disappeared. I was like, what is going on here? Oh, have I cooked this laptop? No, it's come back, at least for now. I have to look at the reasons why it just went blank on me. So here I was just talking, going, well, I kind of fucked this thing. I agree with Lou. Warren needed to be pulled. They had his number. I completely agree with that. But let's get back to Walsh. I felt Walsh lost complete control of that game. I read a statistic that there was 15 missed calls. Am I right? And basically like 80% of them, I think it was statistically, went in the favor of the Astros. So, make out of that what you will. But it's pretty clear that there was some kind of inherent bias going on from Walsh. That's right. I said it. That's right. I said it. Doesn't mean that he's the reason why the Yankees lost, but it's pretty clear that he was biased. And he wanted nothing to do with the Yankees talking to him. I think that's what it was. I think once the Yankees started jawing at him, then he was just sort of like, you know what? I'm a Red Sox fan. Fuck you guys. I think that's what happened. I don't know if the Astros paid the umpire. I'm telling you, I think MLB is just so incompetent that they don't vet their guys. That Walsh guy shouldn't be doing any. Oh my God, could you imagine if he does playoff games? Do you think that there will be any accountability for what he did yesterday? Do you think that he will be held any way accountable for what he did in that game yesterday? Like, he was awful. He was awful. I don't think he'll be held accountable. I think MLB will sweep that under the rug. Absolutely not. No, you're right, Hissy. Absolutely not. He will not be held accountable for it. It's depressing. He should be held accountable. Of course he should be held accountable, but he won't be. It's crazy that baseball don't vet their umpires. Let me charge this motherfucking laptop because I think that's part of the problem. Ugh. So I don't know, man. It was very frustrating to see. Very frustrating. Very fucking frustrating. It was a bad loss. What's up, Evan? How are you? What's going on, Evan? What's happening, man? You good? As long as it doesn't affect the TV revenues, MLB could care less what the umps do. Yep, you're right. You're right, but they should care. The problem is that umpires distracted from what was a very good game. Umpire was terrible. Boone is even worse, putting Williams in. The most frustrating aspect, though, about Walsh's performance was that Big G was on deck. Big G was on deck. And Jazz worked a very, very good at-bat. And it was a marginal pitch, but it was definitely a ball. It was definitely outside. It missed the strike zone clearly. And for those that are saying, well, it was too close a pitch, you should have swung at it. Why should you expand a zone when it's clearly outside? It was a ball. Jazz worked a perfect at-bat. It was a Juan Soto-esque at-bat because he clearly saw that it was a marginal pitch, but it was outside. He did his job. He got on base, which would have allowed Big G to come up and potentially win the game. So that was probably what I was most mad about. It was taking the bat out of Big G's hands. Big G, this is what I was saying, right? This is what I was saying in my head as I was watching this game, right? When Bellinger was up, even before he hit the 3-run home run, I said, just get Stanton up at the plate. Do what you can to get Stanton up. If Stanton's up, the Yankees win. That's what I said. I said it. I should have recorded myself saying it, to be honest, because I could just foresee that was how things were going. Like the Yankees were getting good at bats. Bray was losing it. Then when Bellinger hit the jack job, I was like, all right. I said, get it to Big G. Get it to Big G. He's the only guy that loves those kind of moments. It's not Aaron Judge. He doesn't like those moments. Big G loves those fucking moments. Just look at the Field of Dreams game. Big G loves those fucking moments, man. And I think that the umpire took the game away from the Yankees. I think he did because Big G was going to come up, and Big G would have absolutely annihilated that baseball. Yeah, see, they cheated baseball not allowing Stanton in that bat, in that spot. It was bad for baseball. It was. Dude, that would have been fireworks. Could you imagine? It was a ball, so, I mean, the umpire should have just allowed the fucking base and allowed what could have been a fucking amazing moment to happen. Either way, it was going to be fireworks. Either way. You have the clutchest hitter in the game, Big G, with a chance to win it against the Astros. That's freaking fireworks. Why would you deny the opportunity to the viewer for that? That sucks. And I would have bet good money. I would have bet very good money that Big G would have hit a home run in that at bat. I know it's easy to say that now, but I kind of felt it as I was watching the game. I felt, get the at bat to Big G. Just get it to Big G, and he can win it. And the umpire took the game out of his hands. Took the bat out of his hands. That was unforgivable. And it denied us a moment because I think it was going to happen. Because that's just who Big G is, man. You saw what he did to that baseball in his first at-bat. Everybody could see it. And Brian Walsh could see it. And Brian Walsh was like, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Jazz, you're out. Not on my watch am I allowing Big G to break another window like he did in the first at-bat. Not on my watch. So, thanks, Brian Walsh. That sucks. You denied us all a fun moment. And if the Astros won the game, having faced Big G, then they deserved it. But we got denied the opportunity. And that sucks. So if they did get Big G out, then credit to them. But I would have bet decent money that Big G would have hit a home run in that spot. Because that's just who he is. That is just who he is. What's up, FJ? So I was disappointed, man, because the Yankees have had like no moments this year. I can't think of a win where I'm just like, that was like fireworks. That was like incredible. We haven't really had one of those wins. We had a few of them last year. We haven't had one yet. And I think we would have had that this year in this game had the umpire not took the bat out of Big G's hands, and that sucks. We got Sam in the chat. Hey, just want to say good luck next series. May the best team win for a Blue Jays fan. What up, Sam? Thanks so much for subbing up, and thanks so much for your comment. And my prediction is the Blue Jays will win the series, but we will see. But it was very cool of you to hop on. And I hope you enjoy the channel. Stick with us. We've got a very friendly bunch here in the chat. We've got Mets fans in the that sub up, and we've got Jays fans as well. So we're pretty well represented with other fans here on the channel. But thanks so much, and I do think the Jays are the class of the division this year. And I think the Jays deserve to win the AL East, frankly. But it's going to be a fun series nonetheless. Sam says, I respect other teams' fans. Good for you, man. Same here. I like the Jays team this year. A lot of fun. And they kicked the crap out of the Yankees this year. They absolutely have. It's going to be a fun series. It's going to be absolutely fireworks. No doubt about it. So to get back to Brian Walsh taking the bat out of Stanton's hands, that sucked. Especially considering what Stanton did to that baseball in the first at bat. I think he broke some glass. Like, seriously, it was wild. It was above the choo-choo train. He just demolished that. So it stinks that we didn't get that opportunity in the ninth inning, which would have been fireworks. But so yeah, the umpire lost control. It was a ball. Statistically, I read that Walsh blew 15 calls yesterday, apparently. 15. And the vast majority were against the Yankees. So, not good. But I am not the guy that sits. Yeah, that's it, FJ. So the way I view it, FJ, because he says here after the seventh inning, it seemed like every call went this Stroh's way. Um, Evan says, "Welcome, Sam. Hope we beat the Blue Jays, but it's hard to be confident with the Yanks." Yeah, FJ, I agree with you. It seemed that every call went the Astros' way after the seventh inning. So the way I view it is, I think the umpire was trying just to call a decent game midway through, but once things started to unravel, and then the Yankees started to bite at him regarding his strike zone, that's when his inherent bias came out. And then after that, he just completely lost control, and he just wanted the Yankees to get fucked, basically. Sam's right. That was a walk, by the way. It was low, but Blue just wanted to go back to his hotel. Probably had a late dinner reservation with his Stros manager. Amen. If you look at his Facebook page, apparently he's partial to the Red Sox. So, but listen, I'm not the guy. I'm sure everyone can testify to this. I'm not the guy that blames umpires. I really don't. I think it's kind of a waste of time. The Yankees' problems are so much deeper than an umpire. The umpire lost control of the game. Absolutely lost control of the game. He denied baseball what would have been a great matchup with Big G in the ninth inning. There was certainly some calls there that were questionable at best, highly questionable. The ball felt a little bit like, I don't know. There was just a lot of things. But the Yankees also Yankied. You know what I'm saying? The Yankees Yankified themselves in many ways. That tends to be what they do in big games. In close games, I always think that they're going to lose. If it's a tie game late, I have a feeling the Yankees are going to lose these games in big games because the Yankees Yankify themselves. They really do. They lose control. They spend far too long arguing balls to strikes. And I get a little sick of it. Now, in this instance, they're justified. But it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf because the Yankees have been doing this every game. Every game. Aaron Boone is the master at getting himself thrown out of games. He is the master at getting himself thrown out of games. Constantly complaining about balls and strikes. Constantly. And it's boring. And I think that there is a directive amongst baseball not to listen to Aaron Boone. Because he loses credibility. If you get yourself thrown out more than everybody else over balls and strikes, then you're not going to get any credibility. The umpire's just going to be like, well, you shut up and sit down and manage the game. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like that. It almost feels like Aaron Boone has no idea how to manage a ball game, so he gets himself thrown out. So he doesn't have to. Because he had no idea what to do with that bullpen yesterday. None. So it's like, oh, here we go. He's going to get himself thrown out again. So, yeah. It's like, I have to hold the umpire accountable. He was terrible. I do think he was biased. But frankly, the Yankees egged him on to that point. I don't think he set out to be biased in this game. But the more the Yankees bite him, he's just going to be like, guys, shut up. Because I'm kind of sick of it watching it. As a Yankee fan, I'm like, oh my God, will you stop arguing with the umpires? They do it all the time. Now, Jazz was spot on yesterday. But in previous occasions, he talks too much and he got himself thrown out at one point, just talking too much. Boone gets himself thrown out all the time. It's a thing this Yankee team love to focus on balls and strikes more than their own performance. So I am not the guy that's just going to sit there and tell you guys that the reason why the Yankees lost yesterday was because of the umpire. The umpire certainly hurt us, but the truth is the Yankees kind of did it to themselves in many ways because there was no reason to go to Williams in that spot. You are the architect of your own destruction if you continue to go to Williams in these high leverage spots. Sam says, did you hear what Boone said? I thought he pitched well tonight. Isn't that terrifying, Sam? That's our manager. That is our manager. We got Luca in the chat. Good to see Luca. The ump was bad and inconsistent, but Boone made bad decisions, and Volpe had a chance to cash in with runners in scoring position and didn't. Volpe never cashes in with runners in scoring position. Volpe is complete and utter trash. How long did that hot streak last at the White Sox series? And now he's back to normal again. Has he even had a hit yet against the Astros yet? I don't think so. He looks horrible so far against the Astros. Horrible. He was awful yesterday. And I don't know why he wasn't so high up in the order, but that was another Aaron Boone decision. Boone had Volpe batting 6 in game 1. He was awful in game 1. He was worse yesterday. Awful runners in scoring position. So yeah, Boone was certainly accountable for that aspect. But the ump, the way I view it is, I think it's like the boy who cried wolf. The more and more that you complain about balls and strikes, when oftentimes the call's fair, and you're getting yourself thrown out of the game in order just to distract from your own lack of accountability, I think baseball umpires are sick of it. I think that baseball umpires are sick of the sight of Aaron Boone. And then will tend to just get their back up and then give every call the other way. That tends to be what happens. Now, in this instance, Boone was justified. In this instance, Jazz was justified. But it's like been one instance that I can think of. The rest, by and large, the umpires were fair. And you're right, that 3-1 pitch that Devin Williams was complaining about was clearly a ball, by the way. Absolutely. Well said, Luca. You see, that's what I like about our channel and our subs in the channel and our fans in the channel, is that they're very freaking fair. It's so easy just to sit there and go, the reason why we lost is because of the umpire. The reason why we lost is because of this. The reason why we lost is because of the wind and the rain and the fucking and the ball and anything like that. Because the Yankees do that. That's what the Yankees do. Our subs don't. Because we're smart. That 3-1 pitch was definitely a ball. So when Aaron Boone got himself thrown out and Devin Williams was complaining about a pitch that was definitely a ball, you have no credibility. And so when you're spot on, even when the Yankees were spot on about complaining about some calls in the 9th inning, you have no credibility because you spent the 6th inning getting yourself everybody thrown out over a pitch that was definitely a ball. So the Yankees are very much accountable for this stuff as well. So I'm definitely not going to sit here and tell you all that the reason why the Yankees lost is because of the umpire. The umpire had a lot to do with it, but Aaron Boone had more to do with it. FJ has a great point here. Volpe is so bad, but I mean, I can't keep talking about Anthony Volpe. He's just so bad. Volpe has 70 RBIs, but has a 207 batting average, 398 slug, which is garbage, 669 OPS, which is worse than garbage. There needs to be another term for garbage that's worse than garbage. Abysmal. The number of RBIs that represent being productive has to be reevaluated. Well, that was just Aaron Boone because that's his son. Boone's just coming up with new definitions to try and cover up for the fact that he's just protecting his son, his adopted son. Issy's got a good point here. What I found yesterday was that was absurd was Jazz batting ahead of Stanton. You're right. It didn't make any sense. I don't understand why Stanton was so low in the order, but at the end of the day, it would have worked as it was drawn out to be had that pitch been called fairly and Stanton had an opportunity to do what Stanton does, which is hit in the clutch. So we got John Doe. Volpe is awful. Dude, he's worse than awful. Sam says here, I bet your farm system has way better shortstops that could replace Volpe. Boone absolutely adores him. Sam, you're going to be a very welcome member of this channel. Thank you so much for that, because that is spot on. We actually do have a prospect. His name is Lombard. He is infinitely better than Anthony Volpe. I just don't know what the Yankees are going to do with when Lombard is available, which will be in about a year and a half, 2 years. In fact, the Yankees already have a better shortstop on their bench. And that's where we're at. Caballero, much better shortstop than Anthony Volpe. But Caballero can't get on the field even though he is close to having 50 steals. Mark in the chat. Now we've got some people filtering through. To be fair, earlier in the game, the Yankees had several guys out on strikes 2 to 3 times over. The umpire was awful both ways. Bring in robo-umps. You're right. The umps were terrible. And yes, absolutely, I embrace the idea of a robo-ump. Because guess what? The Yankees could have challenged that call. They would have been proven right. And then Jazz takes his base and Big G can come up and have a fireworks moment, which we were all denied. So yeah, the robo-ump will be a huge, huge benefit to baseball because I do think that the umpires have got their back up and they have been so beyond incompetent as a whole. It's not a Yankee thing. As a whole. All around baseball, they've been incompetent. Walsh, he's dodgy. He's fucking dodgy. But I don't think that umpires are generally biased. I don't think umpires just sit down going, I want this team to lose and that team to win and all that stuff. I don't think they're like that. I just think they generally stink. Brian Walsh? Don't know. Maybe check his Venmo. Maybe check his Venmo. But by and large, the umpires have nothing to do with why the Yankees have been so problematic this year. They have nothing to do with it. But robo-umps will be a huge benefit to baseball as a whole. Sam says Boone needs to stop looking at analytics and focus more on his players and how they feel in certain situations. Well, in fairness to Boone, he actually did that with Max Fried in Game 1, where he visited him on the mound and Fried nodded at him like, I can get this guy out. And Boone trusted him. And he got the guy out. So Boone sometimes, when he gets away from the analytics, sometimes, very rarely, shows that there is a manager hidden deep, 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 deep in there. But the thing is, I have no respect for guys that are puppets. I have no respect for guys that are okay to be completely emasculated. I have no respect for people that have a managerial position and are allowed to have their managerial powers stripped by those above them. I have no respect for that because stand on your own abilities. Stand on your own sword. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for what you think is right. If you are a baseball guy, I want you to stand up on that. And if the Yankees don't appreciate it, there'll be another organization that will. But at least go down with conviction. But Aaron Boone has no convictions. He has no balls. And it's absurd that he allows himself to be a complete puppet to Mike Fishman and his stupid analytics and Brian Cashman's ego. If Brian Cashman is pushing him to continue to use Devin Williams just to prove that he was right in making the trade, that's on Brian Cashman. That's also on Aaron Boone. If Aaron Boone is sitting there and he's allowing Mike Fishman to come up to him and say, you have to use such and such today and all that stuff, tell him, fuck you. Go speak to Brian Cashman. I'm going to do my job. My job is to beat the best people on the field and try and win a ball game. Aaron Boone doesn't do that because he's a cuck. He's allowed himself to be completely emasculated by the Yankees. And I would never, ever allow myself to be put in that position. Because I have convictions. I've had jobs where they've had stupid policies, and I laugh at their stupid policies and ignore them. Right? That's just me. Because I go to bat for what I think is right. So I would never, ever be in this situation to allow people to strip my powers away as a Yankee manager. For me, what you are as a Yankee manager is you're accountable to the players, and you're accountable to the fans, and you're accountable to the history of that organization and what it means to be a Yankee. That's what I feel a Yankee manager is. So every single day, that's what your aim should be. To make the fans proud, make Yankee fans proud, make past Yankees like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, the ghost of those guys, make them proud by just going out there and trying to win every single day with a good approach. Be smart. Shoot from the hip. Shoot from the gut. Yes, analytics are a very handy tool. I'm not sitting there saying ignore on the analytics. I'm just saying ignore the dumb analytics. Ignore the dumb analytics that tells you just to sit Big G for random occasions. You know? Ignore the analytics that tells you to have Anthony Volpe bat sixth. Ignore those analytics. Ignore the analytics that says Devin Williams is better to use in the eighth inning than Weaver. That's a terrible analytic. Ignore that. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? There's certain analytics you just basically ignore. And if it makes Mike Fishman sad, tell Mike Fishman to go cry to Brian Cashman. Because at least I'm going down trying to do the right thing. But that's not Aaron Boone. It's never been Aaron Boone. And listen, he'd argue that his approach is working because he's still in the job 7 or 8 years. As a cock to Brian Cashman and Mike Fishman. That's sad. I wouldn't want to be in a position 8 years just to be a cock to two other old men. Fuck that. Stand my own authority. Willard's got a point here. One more stupid thing. Why do you pitch to Jordan Alvarez when he destroys your pitch? He's like 4 for 4. Exactly. Dude, they've been doing that for years. There was a couple of years ago where I recall Aaron Boone pitched to Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani had a walk-off home run. And when Aaron Boone was asked afterwards, why did you pitch to Ohtani? He says, well, only 1 out of 10 times he hits a home run. There's a 9 times out of 10 he doesn't hit a home run. You fucking idiot. You fucking spineless idiot. You're telling me that there is anything to justify pitching to, like, the face of baseball. You know what I'm saying? And he did that a couple of years ago. Oh, well, nine times out of 10 he doesn't hit a home run. It would have been fine. You freaking idiot. That's just stupid, right? But he does that all the time. Devers destroyed the Yankees. Every single time that Devers was a Red Sox and the Yankees faced him, Devers went yard on the Yankees. Why? Because the Yankees kept pitching him inside. Kept pitching him right in the strike zone. He has like 1,000 slug on the upper inside of the plate, on the middle of the plate. And the Yankees kept pitching him in those areas. Boom, boom, boom. And Aaron Boone's like, oh, whoa, don't know why that happened. 9 times out of 10 he doesn't hit a home run. So, yeah, Aaron Boone is a complete idiot. He's a complete moron. And that's who he is. So, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he can't manage a bullpen. Because he can't. He genuinely cannot manage a bullpen. And John the Beagle Dad, I completely agree with you. I might be in the minority, but I hated this Stetson hat thing. I think it's stupid. And it's also bulletin board material. If the Yankees lose tonight, then that's bulletin board material for the other team. Why do that? Why give the other team bulletin board material? Shut up and play. Shut up and play. But the Yankees don't shut up. They talk far too much. And if anyone doubts that, just look at what happened midway through that game yesterday. Talk. They talked so much that the umpire became fucking biased against them. They need to shut up. They really do. They need to shut up and play. If you're getting some bad calls, suck it up. Keep playing. There's some marginal calls. It'll even out. Shut up and play. If the other team is egging you on, dismiss it. Shut up and play. The Yankees don't do that. I really want them to start going back to that. It would really be helpful for them. Because they're not getting marginal calls right now because they don't stop talking. Bang, bang, bang. Keep fucking talking. Anyway. Let's move on. Sam, got to go back to work. Enjoy the podcast. Donald, God bless. God bless you too, Sam. Thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you in the future. Feel free to hop on. It'll be fun to talk about the Blue Jays series coming up. I think we're doing a show tomorrow as well with the rest of my panel. So we look forward to talking to you tomorrow. We'll be on after 10:05. So anyway, back to the fun stuff. You'll see Jazz. Y'all see Jazz, man. Jazz is taking no shit, and I have to low-key respect it. He looked like he was going to take that umpire's head off, which was great. Loved it. But what I loved even more was after the game. Did you see some of his stuff on social media? Jazz is the man. John the Beagle Dad. Jazz the new captain. No. Stanton's the captain. But Jazz gets all my respect. So somebody was just like, what Jazz did was unacceptable, blah, blah, blah. And Jazz replied to him on X, suck my dick. Jazz from the top rope. Oh, damn, I loved it. Suck my dick. That's right. Jazz said SMD. Yeah, he did. SMD, motherfucker. Loved it. Jazz has the swagger of the old guard Yankees. That's right, man. That's fantastic. So Jazz was so mad that the Yankees got robbed, which they did. He's sitting in that locker room, and he's like, I'm going on X. Oh, someone's actually said something about me? Well, SMD. Fuck you. Right? Then he saw that Josh Hart demanded, because Josh Hart, we're loving Josh Hart, by the way. Star Nick guard, big Yankee fan. He said that Walsh was a cheat and that he should get suspended. Jazz retweet. Boom! From the top rope. Jazz Chisholm is on fire. He's wanting umps suspended. He's telling fans on X, S, and D. Jazz is on fire. Digging it, man. I'm kind of low-key digging Jazz for that. Yes, he did. He is. It's a lot of fun. I like it. I like it. Sometimes his mouth gets a little bit too much, but on this occasion, I'm here for it. There's far too many softies in this world, and Jazz clearly doesn't subscribe to that shit. 13-bar performance. Good to see you in the chat. This is the first time I've actually seen you in the chat, so everybody in the chat say hello to the 13-bar. Jazz is a punk. Volpe sucks. Culture sucks. It's not the umps, man. And if we are that bad where we need to complain this much, that's pretty bad. I like you, 13 Culture. I think 13-bar performance. I think we'd be friends. I completely agree with you. Jazz. Well, actually, no. I don't think Jazz is a punk. He talks too much, though. But Volpe sucks. Yes, and the culture does suck. 1,000%. And the umps, absolutely agree. I think the Yankees do too much complaining. I actually put part of the blame for the umpire losing control of that game on the Yankees midway through, because the Yankees kept jabbing at him, kept complaining until he eventually just blew up and then lost complete control. Now, that's still on the umpire for losing control of the game, but the Yankees kind of egged them on, and that's what the Yankees do, man. They talk far too much. They talk far too much on the field and off the field. And I'm very sick of it because I'm an old school fan. I mean, listen, I'm wearing a Giants hat. I subscribe to the Tom Coughlin mentality. Shut up and play. I will always be that guy. Shut up and play. I'm not going to fucking blame umpires. I'm not going to blame the wind. I'm not going to blame the rain. I'm not going to blame the ball. I'm not going to blame balls and strikes. I'm going to be accountable for myself. If somebody else is egging me on, I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to be accountable to myself. Be accountable to the team. Be a good representation on what it means to be a Yankee. So that's not the Yankee culture. The Yankee culture, they don't have a culture. Their culture is wear Stetson hats to go to play against the Astros, which is so asinine. I find that really asinine. Very stupid. Are they going to go to, when they play Anaheim, are they going to wear Disney outfits? Is Aaron Boone going to wear Mickey Mouse ears when they play Anaheim? You know what I'm saying? What are they going to do? It's so bizarre. When they play in Seattle, are they going to just dress like they're going to a Pearl Jam concert? I mean, honestly, like, it was so asinine to wear Stetson hats just because they're playing in Texas. I mean, what is that? What even is that? Are you saying that everyone's going to come in and when someone wait what? How about when you play the Mets? Are you guys going to wear like I love I heart NY fucking t-shirts? It's just so asinine. And but the Yankees are they are a participation trophy organization now, where it's just like, oh well, at least we're there. Let's just tell them how great they are just because we're there. We're in a participation trophy era nowadays where it's all about fucking feelings and all that shit. I mean, the Yankees just made the playoffs last year. They won like a playoff round or whatever. And then apparently they were doing conga lines in the locker room. They were doing conga lines, man. Just to win a playoff series. Conga lines. Juan Soto went home. Good for him. You know? Aaron Judge is the captain, and I mean, he's a shitty captain because he gave the Red Sox bulletin board material by having a boombox play New York, New York. I mean, that kind of shit doesn't fly. And I know people are going to be like, well, you're the old man in the lawn. This is a modern day. It's cool to be fun. There's fun, and then there's also just kind of being arrogant and being a little bit too focused on participation trophies. They need to get a hold of this culture. For me, like growing up, it was very simple. Yankees celebrate win the division, but they don't have a fucking big champagne fucking meltdown celebration. Let's fucking blow the whole thing up kind of celebrations because they win the division. No, you spray champagne, won the division, great job, shake hands. Right, now we get on with our job. Right? Let's get on with the job. If they make the wild card, no champagne celebration. Shake hands, good job, we made it, but we should have won the division. Now let's get on with our job. If you win a playoff round, conga lines, get the fuck out of here, conga lines. Shake hands, focus on the next round. If you make it to the World Series, then celebrate. Absolutely. Win the World Series? Frickin' hell. Let it all hang out. But until then, you got to get a hold of this locker room and get a proper winning culture involved here, because there's no winning culture. There's no control, and there's far too much talking. An absurd amount of talking. And I'm very, very sick of it. What? No. I didn't just read this. Big G even at times looks absolute lost to the plate. Can't run, can't field. Far from it. Can't wait till he's gone. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't stuff. He is the Yankees' clutch hitter. Have you seen what he's doing this year? If his numbers would be projected over a whole season, he would be touching 60 home runs. He has an OPS of almost 1,000. He's almost batting 300. He is a complete hitter now. He's batting for average. He's batting for power. His exit velo is insane. He's a mammoth, and he's carrying the Yankees since coming back from injury. Carrying the Yankees. He's the one that's clutch. You see what he did in the playoffs last year? He had like a 2,000 OPS in the playoffs last year. Can't stay healthy. Dude is playing the field. He's playing the field. What do you want? He's playing the field. He's doing all he can to help the Yankees. He is there when it counts. Stan is a machine. Stan is so good that Aaron Judge looks up to him. That's right. And just look at the body language. After Big G hit that home run yesterday that broke some fucking glass, Aaron Judge walked up to him and was like, wow, that was amazing. Like, Jesus Christ. How'd you do that? He's a freaking machine. He's a tank. And he's also the Yankees' only fucking leader on the field. Him and Bellinger, really, arguably. The Yankees' leaders are Bellinger and Stanton. Yeah, Judge leads by example, but he's not the guy that brings juice to the team. Look, Stan, we understand what Stan is at this point. But for him to be in this age 35 season, to be arguably the most complete that he's been even since he was an MVP in the National League where he hit almost 59 home runs, for him to be an even more complete hitter now at the age of 35 where he's just he just continually assaults pitchers, it's impressive. And I promise you, if he was given the opportunity yesterday, he probably would have hit a home run because that's what he does. He loves the big moment. Other guys on the team hate the big moment. The people that love the big moment on the Yankees, Stanton and Bellinger. And Grisham. Egyptian's right. So was here one year. He didn't touch the culture. He didn't have a culture last year. He didn't want to take any part in that whole frickin' culture club stuff, country club stuff. Stan has been great when healthy stuff. You look at his thing, you look at his numbers, it's absurd. His playoff numbers, and that's what it's about. You're complaining about Stan. What about Anthony Volpe? That clown with a 200 batting average. Come at me with Anthony Volpe and his 660 fucking OPS. How about him? Big G with his 1,000 OPS, he ain't gonna get any criticism from me. The guy's a machine. What do you mean Stanton's come up big, but it's not enough? Wasn't he the MVP of the ALCS last year? What do you mean it's not enough? What more do you need from this guy? He had like a 2,000 OPS in the playoffs. What more does he need to do? That makes him more important than anybody else. Yeah, we haven't won in 15 years. That has nothing to do with Stanton because he's coming up in the playoffs. Nobody else shows up. Blame it on Aaron Boone. Blame it on Brian Cashman. Blame it on Mike Fishman. It's nothing to do with Stanton. The last lineup doesn't contribute. So, yeah, it's on them. It's not on Stanton. What more does he have to do? Whew. Nah, man, it's wild. Wild take to pinpoint anything on Stanton after what he did yesterday. He broke a fucking window with a home run yesterday. And we're talking about, oh, Stanton has to do more. What more does he have to fucking do? Look at his numbers. What about Devin Williams? Was 560 ERA? I think talk about him. Anthony Volpe with a 660 OPS? Talk about him. We lost. It was nothing to do with Stanton. We lost because it was Devin Williams. We lost because Aaron Boone. We lost because of the bullpen management. We lost because of Duvall. We lost because Weaver gave up a home run. We lost those reasons. They were the ones that gave up all the runs. Stanton is very much part of the solution. Holy shit. Unbelievable. There's not what more can Stanton do, man? Honestly. Stanton's been so good since coming back over a 6-week stretch that there are actually people seriously thinking like he should actually get some MVP votes. That's how good he's been since coming back from injury. He deserves more credit, man. And stuff and things. I want you to start looking at the real reasons why the Yankees lose. Look at the management. Look at Aaron Boone. Look at Devin Williams. Look at Anthony Volpe. Stan's part of the solution. Right. Well, why don't you mention it in the chat? All you're doing is telling me that Stan's a problem. Why not going after the ones that are really the problem? I completely agree, Izzy. Stan is the real captain. I've been saying it. I know it's not a popular take because everybody loves themselves some Aaron Judge, and I like him too, but the real leader on the Yankees is Stanton. He always comes up. He's always answered the call. Anyway, I'm not going to get distracted screaming about fucking Big G. It's obvious. Just look at his stats. The guy's a machine. We have bigger problems. We have much bigger problems than a DH that's just trying to do his best to help the team while Aaron Judge rehabs from his elbow issue. And so he can play the field and then Big G can go back to DH. That's a team first game player right there. Good dude. Do you know who's a good dude? Bellinger. That's a good dude. Bellinger's a machine. I love Bellinger's approach with 2 strikes. It's very impressive. So that 3-run home run was great. I can't be too mad at the Yankees after that loss yesterday because they really fought back. Came back, made it 8-7, and I think that had the umpire not taken the bat out of Stanton's hands, then I think Stanton would have had an answer and probably would have hit a home run and won us the game last night. I do think that. I know it's easy to say that in hindsight, but I do feel that way. So that stinks. But I think Lou says I think we need to re-sign Bailey. I agree. I think we do need to do that. All right. Finally got a good comment from Stuff. Williams should be DFA'd. That's true. I don't get why they keep using his pathetic soul. Good word choice. Volpe should be benched. Absolutely. Where's the testicular fortitude? The Yankees don't have any. They believe in coddling, and they believe in the power of friendship. They probably sit and watch Disney movies together and talk about friendship. Mark says re-sign Bailey to play first base. It's an interesting take. Although he's very useful in the outfield. He's very good in the outfield. Jake, in my opinion, the game was on Boone. No, it was, absolutely. I would say it was about 75% Boone, 25% umpire. They pinch hit Volpe late in the game. Why not with second and third, nobody out? I know, because they don't want to hurt Anthony Volpe's feelings. Remember, Anthony Volpe is Boone's adopted son, so Boone has to protect him. Poor little baby. Now, that's a good point. I'm going to open this up to the panel. Stuff and Things is asking, do you think Grisham is for real or is he playing over his head? I don't know. It's hard to tell right now. That's a great comment. So I'm going to open that up to the panel or in the chat. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is for real or is it hard to tell? Egyptian says it's hard to tell. I'm trying to think about this because I'm actually a big Grisham fan. I've always liked Grisham. I love the fact that the Yankees added him to the deal, or actually the Dodgers added him to the deal and the Yankees took him. Because I actually always liked his game. I always liked the fact that he's a very good defender and he has some power. I liked that whenever the Yankees played him last year, which was only like a handful of times, he was clutch. Now, he was a little easy-ozy, and it rubbed people the wrong way, but he was clutch in big moments. Like, there was a game against the Red Sox at Fenway, I keep talking about it, in July, where he had a big 2-out hit, drove in RBIs, and changed the game. I was like, wow, that guy is clutch. Play him more. And Aaron Boone's like, no, Mike Fishman and Aaron Boone told me not to play him, so I won't. It has to be Anthony Volpe. And I'm sorry, it has to be freaking Alex Verdugo. Because Alex Verdugo's friends with Aaron Judge. So, that kind of shit. Too much politics. Too much politics. Grisham should have played last year. So, long story short, I was excited for him this year, but I wasn't expecting this. How would anybody expect him to hit 30 home runs? This is like 12 or 13 more home runs than he's ever hit in his career. So, I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know. Right, I'm not going to sneeze this time. I actually don't know. It's tough to tell. I think he's unlocked something for sure, Grisham. I just don't know if next year you're going to get a big 30 home run game, that 30 home run season next year from him. If I was to choose between one or the other for a contract, I would probably go Bellinger for a contract because at least I know that he's got an MVP under his belt at some point in his career, and he's someone that can play 3-4 positions. He's versatile. I'm probably gonna go with Bellinger to trust more than Grisham, and it's no disrespect on Grisham, but because at least I've seen a larger sample size with Bellinger. I haven't seen that sample size with Grisham, but Grisham has been unbelievable, otherworldly. And if the Yankees were to bring him back, I certainly wouldn't hate it. But it would also lead to questions like, what are you going to do with Spencer Jones? What's their plan with Dominguez? Are they going to trade Dominguez? Those kind of things. Because Grisham can only play center field. Jonathan says you give Grisham a qualifying offer. Absolutely. You have to. But he's gonna test free agency. He's gonna get a multi-year deal. I think it's for someone in the National League. He's probably been so good that he's probably priced himself out of a Yankee extension. But to answer your question, stuff, I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball. I have no clue. I'm probably edging towards it's hard to tell. As he says, you're not alone. I've been thinking exactly the same thing, to be honest, just like Jurickson Profar. That's a good point. Like, let's not forget that the contract year is a thing. It's very much a thing. What about Jurickson Profar? Just last year, he was an absolute machine. I don't think he's having anything close to the kind of year he's having this year. Now, it could go the other way because Gleyber Torres had an awful contract year last year, but contract years are a big thing. So I get it. I get it. It's tough. It's really tough to know. But I would trust Bellinger slightly more just because I've seen the larger sample size. Grisham will enter free agency. Says Evan's right. He will. Stuff and thanks. He was a 190 hitter with the Padres. All of a sudden, he's on fire. Well, sometimes you can unlock shit. That is very possible. He does have power. He has always had power, Christian. But he's kind of brought it all together this year, and it's certainly, I've never seen anything quite like it. It's been quite a remarkable turnaround. But yeah, I'm loving Grishmas. Grishmas has been great. Jake, I also think Boone is costing them more games by not playing Caballero. You're spot on. It doesn't make any sense not to play Caballero. Other than the fact that you are trying to protect your child. Because Caballero has speed. He's a better defender than Volpe. He's versatile. He's got a better hitting profile. And I say that because Caballero knows exactly who he is. Caballero isn't trying to hit home runs to the moon. Caballero knows who he is. His hitting profile is better than Anthony Volpe because it's for Caballero, it's all about getting on base. He's just interested in getting on base. He's a slap hitter, and he wants to get on base, and once he gets on base with that speed, he can turn a single into a double. If he's standing at second, he's going to steal third. That's just what he is. You can always count the extra base when Caballero gets on. He hits a single, it's a double with his speed. He hits a double, he's going to steal. He's going to go to third. He's constantly stealing. He's almost got 50 steals. I like his hitting profile better because he's not trying to do something that he isn't. And Anthony Volpe is not a power hitter. Yeah, Anthony Volpe, he's constantly trying to hit home runs. I don't like Volpe's hitting profile, and you can tell because look at his numbers. Yeah, he's run into 18 home runs. He has. But that's all he can do because if you look at the rest of the numbers aren't there. He doesn't have that many hits. He's an all or nothing player. And he doesn't even have power to be all or nothing. So, I don't like that approach. I know the Yankees love that, but I don't like that. I like the Caballero was more old school. Caballero would suit the old school style of play, but I have to remember that the new school is really pushing out the kind of Caballeros these days. The new school is ignoring these kind of guys that are about just getting on base and using speed, etc., know-how to be successful. The new school, like the Yankees, will be like trying to work with an Anthony Volpe because he's got a little bit of power, even though he's got nothing else. So, luckily, I appreciate old school players, and I think Cab is one of those old school type of players that you should be making use of. There's no downside to having somebody that is very good at getting on base. With the Yankees' power, and you have to remember that it's like Yankees have like 6 guys, and soon to be about 7 guys that are going to have 20 plus home runs in their lineup. That's unprecedented. All they really need is somebody that can get on base. It's going to help your lineup more than an Anthony Volpe who's going to strike out 9 times and then get 1 hit. It just seems that's not my kind of hitter, man. I don't like it. But more to the point, Anthony Volpe's biggest problem is actually his defense. I never actually thought I would say that. His biggest problem is his defense, even though offensively he sucks. His defense is a much bigger problem this year than his offense. The only reason why he only has 18 errors is because baseball is pushing for anything that is hit hard to be given as a base hit. So it's like a directive from baseball for the scorers to ensure that most things get called a hit. Because, it looks better for baseball to have more hits. The truth is, if this was a couple of years ago, Anthony Volpe would have, top of my head, he'd probably have about 30 errors. Not 18, he'd have 30. Because there have been a ton of plays where Volpe has completely screwed them up and have been called hits because it's been hit hard. So Volpe is incredibly fortunate. Incredibly fortunate he doesn't have like 30 errors. But if you look at his Baseball Savant page, his defense is like in the 10th percentile or something like that. It's complete garbage. Even worse than that, maybe. Last time I checked, it's just awful. He's the biggest problem. And his problem is because his footwork and his arm is awful. Terrible footwork, terrible arm. Not a good combo for a shortstop. But you're never going to hear anything from Aaron Boone because it's his son. So he has to protect his son. But Volpe is awful. And Caballero should be playing instead of him. The rest of the way. Jake Spawn. How many more games would this team have won if it wasn't for Williams and Volpe? Well, I mean, I can directly say between 8 and 10 games Williams is responsible for. And Volpe has, how many, like 18 errors or something like that? On multiple games where he's been responsible for us to lose. So, I mean, I would say conservative estimate, the two of them combined, at least 10. We'd have at least 10 more wins. Maybe even 12. That's something else. That just shows that there's actually a very good team here. But with the shitty culture and the protection of players that don't deserve to be protected, it's actually cost us because the Yankees should be running away with the American League East. With this offense, with having an unprecedented amount of guys that have 20-plus home runs and above average OPSs, and their pitching staff's been good, our starters have been great, Fried's been great, Rodon's been great, Schlittler's been great, Luis Gil's back, he's been great. Will Warren, don't really like him, but he's actually been pretty solid. You got Bednar as a beast of a closer. This team is good. But they've been undone by 3 things. Boone's culture, Boone protecting Anthony Volpe, and Boone protecting Devin Williams. So all of it comes back to Aaron Boone. All of it comes back to Aaron Boone again. Yes, you're right. Devo, Goldie has saved him a bunch of times. Volpe would have about 30 errors. And that might be kind to him. But big game tonight. Big game tonight. I'm not that mad at the Yankees losing last night. That's not the real reason. Like I think that the Yankees played a pretty solid game. It was a fun game. Uh, didn't work. Sometimes you lose. Um, but the my biggest critique is Devin Williams. And also, yes, the umpires suck, but we know this. Big game tonight. The Yankees have a big game tonight. Let's see how they handle this. This is going to be my test for the Yankees. Here's my test for the Yankees. After last night's injustice, how are they gonna approach tonight's game? Are they gonna roll over and die, or are they gonna come out firing? If they come out firing, then I have a feeling that this Yankee team could be solid, and make a playoff run. Now, I say playoff run. I still don't think that they're going to make the World Series this year or even make an ALCS, but make things interesting in October. But if the Yankees roll over and just fucking die after blowing that game yesterday, then I have no hope over the next 2 weeks that they'll do anything against the Blue Jays and the Tigers and the Red Sox and all that stuff, or even the Orioles. So there's a lot in this game coming up tonight. How will they approach it? If they come out on fire, then there might be something here. If they just kind of go, we blew the game, because they've done this in the past, and they start imploding again, then it tells you everything about where the Yankees are. So this is a big test tonight. Let's see how the Yankees approach it. If the Yankees are like, fuck that umpire, he's the one that robbed us of that game. Let's go and fight. Let's take it to the Astros. Let's take the fight to the Astros. If they have that energy, then there could be something to be built off of. If you win 2 out of 3 in Houston, that is something to really build off of. Then you can really galvanize a team that way. You can really galvanize a locker room that way. So there's a lot in this game tonight. If the Yankees lose, then I have a feeling that they're going to struggle the rest of the next 2 weeks. So over to you, Yankees. It's over to you. How are you gonna handle this? How are you gonna handle this? Over to you guys. Come out firing. Come out with a chip on your shoulder. I want to see the Yankees approach tonight with a chip on their shoulder. Let's see if they do it. If they roll over, then it tells me everything about the state of the culture of this locker room. If they don't, if they bring some fight, they bring the fight to the Astros, take the series, win a clean game, then I'll have confidence that they can make a run. Issy says either we win tonight 3-2 or we get blown out 7-3. Yes, the Jays series is the biggest one. Absolutely agree with that. But I do think that this rubber match here is kind of make or break for the Yanks in terms of mentality. Not in terms of the standings, but mentality. If they lose tonight, I have no faith. If they win tonight, maybe there's something to this team to build off of. They didn't play all that badly so far this series. They won game 1 great, perfect. Game 2, they had a 4-1 lead and they imploded it because Aaron Boone doesn't know how to manage a bullpen. And of course, Walsh was secretly wearing a Red Sox jersey. But let's see how they approach this one. Please approach it with a chip on your shoulder. manufacture a chip on your shoulder. Do whatever it takes to have a chip on your shoulder and win tonight. And then let's see how they do against the Blue Jays. But as you know, I'm going to be here for it. We in the Pinstripe Chronicles will be here for it. We will talk about tonight's game tomorrow. And probably a good chance that you might see a Yankified show on Saturday night as well, because this is a big run. There's a lot to talk about. Jake, did anyone else think Duval's a head case? No, I agree. Like he clearly is. Issy, time for number 99 to show up. That would be nice. Although he's not really been a big problem this series. But he needs to come up in the clutch, that's for sure. But one thing I'll ask you guys to do is, those watching, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. If the hype button is there, hit the hype button. But statistically, I think we see there's about like 43% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if anyone who's watching hasn't subscribed yet, please have the opportunity to sub up. And you can join the channel. It's absolutely free. And talk to all our wonderful, wonderful subs here that are always so loyal. And so my big thanks to everyone that's, again, loyal in the chat. You guys have been great, sticking with me for 2 hours. So you guys have been great. Please, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button, do all the good stuff. And we will see you on tomorrow's stream. Let's go Yankees. Have a great rest of your day and rest of your afternoons. I know it's only midday. You guys enjoy the rest of your afternoons. I'm going to go and grab a Starbucks. I'm going to go chill and rest this voice and look forward to tonight's game. And I will see you tomorrow with the Pinstripe Chronicles. And then, there'll be more Yankified on Saturday. There's a very, very good chance of that too, John the Beagle Dad. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, John, Issy, Stuff. Go Giants too. Amen, Stuff. Amen. Thanks to the Blue Jays fan that hopped on. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to Jared. Thanks to John. Thanks to FJ. Thanks to everybody that joined in. All the best. See you tomorrow.